Hi, this is the ACT Matrix Training Quadrant 3. Again, there might be a little departure from the first one and the last one because I lost some of those videos. But let's go ahead and hop into it. So Quadrant 3, right? Got this. Quadrant 1, we started with values, things that matter, our goals, right? Writing those down since this is a tool that you can use to work ACT kind of on the fly for a specific situation. And then in the second video, right over here in this quadrant, hopefully that makes sense. It might be mirrored. I don't know. You got it. You can see the visual. Was the thoughts and feelings that move you away from this thing that matters over here. In this third quadrant, in the top part, we are actually moving out of the inside of us, right? Our awareness of our thoughts and our feelings, our beliefs, the unobservable stuff. And we're moving to the top of the matrix, which is the observable, okay? But we're still in the away from our values portion, if that makes sense, okay? So moving away. So it's gonna be what actions, what things are we doing, right? That in response to these uncomfortable thoughts and feelings that are moving us away, that are still moving us away from what matters. Now, this can be pretty challenging to come to terms with because probably these thoughts and feelings are fueling these actions. They make logical sense, even if they're not functionally helpful, okay? So some of my favorite examples come from parenting, is that it might make societal sense to put people in timeout or to yell or snap when someone's being disrespectful, blah, 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 right? But rarely, unless we're really being intentional with it, are those things actually helping. And really, they're just kind of helping us to quell the thoughts and feelings, but they don't actually move us towards what we actually want. So I'm going to give an example from myself because that's what I know best. And that I have two little kids and sometimes they fight. The scenario is usually that my daughter, the younger one, cries because she's little. She's 2.5. She just does that a lot. And then my son, who's 5, gets mad because it means the game's going to stop. It means he doesn't get to do what he wants. It means something that he doesn't like, right? We've got this scenario. It happens all the time, okay? Now I've set the stage. Mallory values her kiddos being able to express their emotions without needing to fix it, right? It's something that I didn't necessarily have when I was a kid. It just wasn't part of the time for parenting then. And it's something that I'm still learning how to do. So I want to help my kiddos learn how to do that while they're little, okay? And oftentimes I'm triggered as fuck because there's crying and then there's yelling and anger. It gets really loud, it gets really fast. And oftentimes I have to stop doing what I'm doing. Or there's some sort of extra effort to full component that shows up that's not exactly in line with where I was going with my day, right? Or, maybe someone's going to get hurt. Maybe I'm actually afraid for the situation because my son is getting angry and my daughter's upset and they're not being careful, right? So sometimes my reaction is to yell at them or to snap at them or to tell them to stop or to fix it, right? Like, let's get you guys a snack. Let's get you guys whatever, right? Let me get you your tablet. Let's put on the TV, right? Let's make this stop. That isn't always in line with what I want to happen, my goal, right? And it's fed by these feelings of, I can't hold this. This is too loud. This is too much. I am too overwhelmed. I can't do this, right? So these thoughts and feelings lead me to snap at them or to yell at them or to do something which is sometimes functional and sometimes not, of let me fix it for you. Let's move towards something else, right? And that isn't always what I actually want to be happening, the aligned action that'll get to this quadrant over here eventually. And so it's not serving the function that I want it to, even though it alleviates these feelings, right? And so these two sides of the quadrant really interact with each other a lot. And when I get curious about that, that's not what I would really like to do. Instead, what I would like to do, which is what we'll evaluate now, like into the next one, is to sit with those feelings and hold space for her to be sad and for him to be mad, and for that to be okay. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? But the actions that I'm doing, right, which are snapping or giving them the tabby or yelling at them, aren't functional. And so I'm going to have to write those in this quadrant so that way I can draw awareness to them within the context of this ACT tool, because it's going to help me to notice those things, right? So that way when they're happening in real life time, rather than just reflection, because this is kind of a reflection tool, then I can start coming up with quadrant 4, which we're going to talk about in the next video, and being able to practice those when these things come up, right? But it's also important to notice that these two talk together, right? Like the thoughts and feelings of I can't hold this impact this snapping. So it can also be in this next corner, which we're going to get to, what thoughts and feelings might be more functional, and what thoughts and feelings might I choose. So how about we hop over there and talk about quadrant number 4. And I appreciate you watching this video. Hopefully this makes sense, and this tool is something that you might be able to use in the future.